You what our plan is for Sunday to assist the CMPD officers here with the information I've been getting about something that may take place at the Panther game. So we've got to be aware of that as well. So he's going to come now. Pastor Mir may open up in prayer.
Eternal God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the citizens of this community, God. We thank you for our law enforcement. Thank you for our community as a whole. We ask you to bring peace to the beautiful Queen City, God. We ask you to bring tranquility, God. We ask you now to bring rest to the family and give them comfort. Lord, let justice prevail. In Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. I'm here today. I'm a pastor, Amir May Sr., and I'm here from a community stance to stand with our community and stand with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. I'm the senior pastor and founder of Abundant Faith Word Church here in Charlotte, 1600 Pavilion Drive in the University City area. I'm here today twofold. I'm here as a young black male, as well as a father, but also as a community leader in this wonderful community called Charlotte. I transitioned here over a year ago from Michigan. I was pastor in Kalamazoo. I came here because of its uniqueness, its diversity, and just a wonderful community to be in. And I look forward to retiring here. Less than a year time, we have several fatal shootings that I feel that was ignored. And today, my wife was able to release a video of Mr. Scott being shot down. And that video was very disturbing because we really can't get any answer from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police. As a leader, regardless of what type of leader you are, you have to always earn the trust of those that you lead. And for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department to drag their feet on to release the evidence that they have is very frustrating, not only to me as a pastor, but it's frustrating to our community. Because we're now asking you, why not expedite the time to get the truth out of there? What are you waiting for? Does someone else have to die in another protest? Does another window have to be broken? Why are you not altruistic enough to release those videos and let justice prevail? And so that's why we're here. We're frustrated, and we're coming here. We've been on the front lines. We've been tweeting. We've been texting. It's all on social media. We're trying to bring peace. Breaking a window and throwing rocks and burning our buildings will not always give us justice. It will not give us justice. It'll just cause harm to us mentally, physically, and financially. So we are one Charlotte. It's not a white Charlotte, black Charlotte, right. Asian Charlotte. We are one Charlotte. And we serve one God, one faith, one Lord, and one baptism. And so that's why I'm here. Also, I'm here and I'm asking the community leaders, I'm asking 100 men to meet me at worship on Sunday. 100 men at Abundant Faith Word Church on Sunday, regardless of your culture, persuasion, regardless of your ethnicity. The reason I need you to be here, because there's something about when men come together and set a precedence, we can get change with our youth. We need those 100 men after worship. We need you to stay after worship so we can give you some directives, because there have been coming in, some things have been coming to us saying there may be some protests at the Panthers game. And we don't want any fatalities. We don't want any disturbances. So we need to strategize so we can not only stand with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police, but we can stand with our community and be a mediator between two communities. At this time, there's a lack of trust. It's a lack of trust on both communities, but we ought to be able to trust our police department. We ought to be able to trust our chief, and who I think is in a real precarious situation. But we're praying for him. We're praying for our mayor. We're praying for the city council. We're praying for all that are involved. We're praying for the Scott family, the wife who saw her husband get gunned down. And so we urge you to meet us Sunday at Abundant Faith Word Church. We're trying to gather 100 men. It would be nice to have 1,000 men to stand in front of the Panther Stadium so we can keep pounding on justice, keep pounding on love, and keep pounding in peace. So meet us at Abundant Faith Word Church, 1600 Pavilion Drive at 11 a.m. and we're going to give you some directives how we can become a greater community.
Next, we're going to have a mother of four boys who's actually going to come and give her thoughts. Her name is Miss Myra Foster. She's also the founder of a Showcase magazine. She's been helping us get the word out about what's been going on in reference to this particular situation. So Miss Myra Foster is her name.
My name is Myra Foster. and I have been out last night and the night before that with the happenings that have been going on, the peaceful protests that have been turned into something else by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Just like every other citizen and like every other mother, I'm tired of these happenings that are taking place not only in our city but in other places as well, but specific to Charlotte because we're here, and what we want is change. I also work with the Showcase magazine, and we're working closely on the ground to keep things as they're related to our community. We're putting those things out as they're happening and not with any other type of spin.
Yes, you can. Spell your name.
Myra is spelled M-Y-R-A. Foster is spelled F-O-S-T-E-R.
Pastor Amir, A-M-E-R-E, last name May, Sr.
A lot of the leaders, and due to my battery going dead on my phone, unfortunately, we wanted to give some of the leaders, and if you want to get responses from them later, I can give you their numbers. Nation of Islam Representative B.J. Murphy, Bishop Kevin Long is a supporter. He prayed at our first press conference 2 days ago. Gastonia is showing their support. Pastor Luke Curry, L-U-K-E, Curry, C-U-R-R-Y. Pastor Billy Wilson, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Billy Wilson. We got a rally at his church tomorrow, Saturday, 12 noon, trying to get a young man out of jail in South Carolina. But we're also going to be highlighting the Scott case. That's at Gethsemane Baptist Church tomorrow, 12 noon, Justice Rally. Black Lives Matter is supporting our efforts. And Will Adams of True Blue, that's T-R-U Blue. They're all have been responding. And as I said before my phone went dead, Miss Alma Adams' office called us as well. She's wanting to reach out to the mother. Today, as I sat in the Hyatt Hotel, sipping some coffee, going through some notes, came across the Wall Street Journal. I said to myself, wow, Charlotte is on the front cover of the Wall Street Journal. Not for winning a Panther game, not for winning a Bobcats game, but for a shooting and the hiding of a video, I call it, for the last 72 hours. I can still hear the screams of Miss Scott saying, don't shoot him. He's had a TBI. He's just taking his medicine. Don't shoot him. I remember Eric Garner screaming, I can't breathe. And the list goes on and on. So we're here again. My mother told me last week, she said, John, I actually be glad when President Barack Obama get out of office. She said, because I've never seen it this bad. So today we're asking one thing to happen. Number one, you give justice immediately to the family, the Scott family, who hasn't even had a proper funeral for the father. Second thing I would love for you all to do is to realize that someone got shot in this city. And the holding on to the video did not make things better. Truth of the matter is, it actually made it worse. I don't know what will happen tonight, but I'm encouraging the youth to be patient. All demonstrators and protesters, I'm asking you sincerely, don't tear up Charlotte because of this. I don't think the Scott family would want that. I definitely don't want it. I actually enjoy going to Buffalo Wild Wings, but the truth of the matter is their windows was busted out too. So today we want to make sure that we let everybody know that we're very disappointed at the police efforts in holding on to the video, because I really believe it only made it worse. And now we got to heal through this process. Very sad day in Charlotte. Deja vu for me, 3 years ago with the Farrell case. Another black man shot, running, I call it for help, with no shoes on. Shot 10 times. 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 shots in Mr. Scott's chest. She's telling them, don't shoot him. As if a leg was not an option for them. And now we're seeing images of a gun being on the ground. And there's another picture where the gun's not there at all. What's going on with these mystery images that we're seeing? And what's going on behind closed doors at the police department? What are they whispering about? They're not transparent with us. Then the youth out here busting out these windows from the Bobcats Arena all the way down to Brevard Street. They're going to make sure they respond. See, what happens is that I'm old enough and wise enough to know at the age of 47 that I can wait on due process, whether it's a jury trial, whether it's the process of getting a lawyer in place. But there's some kids down in the back areas of Charlotte that don't have that patience. They may listen to a little rap music, maybe a straight A student, and their pants may be a little baggy, but they don't have that much patience. My patience is symbolic to my mother making a macaroni and cheese. It takes about an hour to make that. But now they have Easy Mac. You can make a microwave macaroni and cheese in 5 minutes. What am I saying? The young people, they have a microwave mindset. They're not going to wait no 5 days. Not going to wait no 72 hours for no video to be released. They don't even want to wait for the trial, even though that's a process. They want things now. Even though I don't always honor that, I do think in this situation it could have been a whole lot better. Maybe we could have saved a couple of windows. Maybe we could have saved the life of the young man who lost his life on yesterday during one of the demonstrations that took place out here. We didn't lose one life. We lost two. A young man. I believe he was 15 years old. What if he had never been out here? What if he was at home on a video game? But because he wasn't, he was out here and he lost his life. Now, there's something funny about the blood as I close. Something about the blood that cries out from the grave. I talked about it earlier this week. Innocent blood cries from the grave. In Charlotte, there's a lot of angry people. We're disappointed and upset that this video has now been released. You can look at the lawyer's face when he walked out of the office. You know he was not pleased and happy with what was going on. You don't have to say it. You can see it in the faces of the family. Hope things get better here. If they don't get better, they're actually going to get worse. Lastly, we want to talk about what's very important. The future. What is the future for Charlotte? We got a Panther game going on Sunday. I can't enjoy that Panther game with my son because I'm going to be mobilizing 100 men to try to work in collaboration with CMPD to try to keep these individuals calm. We'll be back out here tonight. Last 3 nights we've been out here. I should be at home watching a reality show, sipping Starbucks. But my life has been out here for the last 13 years. More importantly, here in Charlotte for the last 4 days. Whispering in these young men's ears. You know what I whisper to them? The police ain't really wanting to talk to them. I go up to them, I say, look at here, if you hit this particular officer, or if you throw a water bottle at him, you're actually going to get charged with assault on an officer. And then I got to go to your bond hearing across the street. I have to whisper that in their ears. And I remember one guy in particular, he looked at me, dropped the water bottle and walked away. But the police is not going to do that. They're not going to take time out to whisper into these young men's ears. And because of that, that's where the problem is. More dialogue. Charlotte, you got to be transparent. Chief of Police, you got to be transparent. We already had one mystery case. Chief Monroe. Charges, Officer Carrick. 19 days before trial, as I told you earlier, I'm going to keep saying it, he disappears. The man that charged Officer Carrick disappears. July 1st, they cut a check. Ms. Farrell said, money doesn't replace the life of Jonathan Farrell. Cut a check for $2.25 million, but you make that on a good day during NASCAR weekend. And yet and still, we're still dealing with a video. A video. Hold the dash cam for 2 years for Jonathan Farrell. Now you release it, you wait 2 or 3 days. And all you're doing is got this blood boiling in Charlotte. It's boiling, it's boiling, it's boiling. Powder keg, sparks all around it. You don't want to address it, but America will address it. They addressed it in the 60s when you shot Dr. King 3 times. One of the bullets penetrated his jaw. You give us a national holiday. Think everything's going to be okay. Put a pacifier in the mouth and rock us back to sleep. We're still crying out. Body still floating in Katrina. Put a pacifier in the mouth. Send some FEMA money and everything will be okay. And if that wasn't enough, you want to try to play games with voting. You need ID. You need this. You want to play games with the voting. And truth of the matter is, Afro-Americans, we only get an upgrade on voting. You give us 40 years. That's where we are in America right now. We got a race problem. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's taboo. Treat it like AIDS. We don't talk about it. CMS. 10,000 Afro-American males suspended. And I don't see no protesters dealing with that issue. We got some situations in Charlotte that need to be cleaned up. And I'm open for answers. I don't want to go to a Panther game, but I got to be on the outside, making sure nobody throws a firecracker and 10,000 people run over and trample each other. Because it can happen. At the drop of a second, I've seen it happen. So the truth of the matter is we're here today. In love and in unity. I'm coming in the spirit of Dr. King. I can't come no better than that. But there's another side of me that gets real angry. And I remember Malcolm X saying one thing. I never forget that quote. He said, there's a lot of angry Negroes in America. And I'm the angriest of them all. Never understood what Mr. Minister Malcolm X was saying. But I'm kind of losing patience myself. And I'm losing that same patience that Malcolm X lost. It's anger. It's disappointment. Because I voted some of these people in office. Be it the city council, whether it's shaking hands with Chief Monroe. We know these individuals. But I guess there's somebody behind closed doors that's maybe dictating their steps. President Barack Obama really ain't the president. Congress is the president. He can put a bill in, but it can be kicked back. So I ask Charlotte that you don't end up back on the Wall Street Journal. I ask the next time we're on here, we're going to have some hugs, some kisses, like we did last night with the National Guard. I'm an ex-vet. And the truth of the matter is, my father didn't get hugs when he came back from Vietnam. So I was totally impressed at the coverage last night of individuals hugging the National Guard. But will they hug them tonight? Will they hug them Sunday during a Panther game? And will they hug the Scott family on Monday of next week? After all the smoke clears, Miss Scott has got to deal with the fact that her husband is no longer around her. She can't get a hug from him anymore. She can't kiss him. 7 kids cannot hug their daddy for Christmas. And yet we think life is still good. Go down the street and just enjoy a Panther game. When Trayvon Martin's mother is still crying out, I can still feel the stings of Michael Brown's bullet penetrating his body where he laid on the ground for multiple hours. Let's do better. Questions?
Mr. Barnett, a lot of people saying right now that video is offering more questions than answers. You watched it, you heard police saying, drop the gun. What do you think? What is your gut? Did he have a gun or was it a book, as the family said?
You know, I really, when I watched that video, I was really praying that she could maintain herself enough to actually keep the video when he actually got shot. And it's amazing. The Farrell video we waited for 2 years. Right at the time where the bullets left Officer Kerrick's gun, he runs out of the frame. And we have the same situation here. It's a mystery. Truth of the matter is we've seen a video, but it didn't show him actually getting shot, and that's the sad situation. Questions? No, not at all. I think nobody held on to Rodney King's video, and yet they showed it over and over again. And my son, at the age of 8 at the time, had to watch Rodney King being beat by multiple officers. That video wasn't being held. So I think that they should be very open to release that information. What are we hiding? You're going to show it anyway during the jury trial. So I think it's important that they should have shown it. And because of that, there's, like I said, there's not a lot of people that have patience. Video or no video.
One thing that you did mention was blood is boiling. Are you suggesting that you think, and I know you can't predict, that until this video is released, this type of angry protest is going to continue?
Yes, absolutely. In this era, my mother says, in this era, my mother says, keep praying, right? In this ear, my right ear, there's youth on the street of Charlotte and Rock Hill and Gastonia, and I just left Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Their words in this ear is the same response. We tired. We knocked on the door in 1960. We hungry. Let us in. We tapped. 1980, we beating on the door a little harder. Let us in. We hungry. 2016, we ain't knocking. We busting down the door. And we going in there and we taking whatever is inside, symbolic to those Michael Jordan shoes. Patience has ran out. And the blood boiling is symbolic languages I'm using, which means they upset, they angry. And even though I may not know Trayvon, or they may not know Trayvon, they can relate. Might not know Michael Brown, but they can relate. So what happens is that blood begins to boil over and over again inside of them. And since they can't have an outlet, since we can't talk to the police to tell them to release the video, since we can't let it out, it begins to grow. And that's why you have individuals that will take time out to shoot an officer like they did in Shelby, or those other officers in Texas. And I don't ask that no one shoot an officer, but I also ask that the officers not shoot us as well. So that's what happens when the blood boils. There's repercussions. And it's a sad state. When it gets to that point, it's too late. Bill Cosby once said on Donahue years ago, and that's a throwback, Donahue. He said it takes 1 second to pull a trigger, but it takes 3 seconds to reconsider. I never forget that. I'm praying that Charlotte starts to use that 3-second process. Mr. Scott would be here today. He wasn't shot 4 times in the chest. I'm still promoting legs. I'm still promoting taser guns. I still believe in a Billy, whatever they hit, Billy stick, whatever. I still believe in those. I believe in them faithfully. But we're not there yet. Question?
What's going on tonight? Can you talk about, I guess, are you going to be out in protest tonight?
Yes, I brought a bag of clothes because we'll be out here all night long. And I don't protest. I'm waiting for the Scott family to deal with the mourning of what's going on. Now, if I'm out here, I'm going to make sure that these kids don't get out of hand, or the young people don't get out of hand. That's my goal in life. I'm not protesting anything. Truth of the matter is, I'm going to wait for the legal process to take its steps. They have an excellent attorney, Attorney Bamberg. He's also representing Walter Scott. So I think in due time they will get justice. But we're tired of checks. We're tired of checks for the blood of Afro-Americans. We're tired of those checks. $250 million in the last 7 years, 8 years. 10 of the major large cities in this country. $250 million? You just cutting checks? Eric Garner's wife got $5 million. She turned it back in. Google it, Rolling Stones magazine. She turned it back in. She said, I got 6 kids, not 5. Then next week they cut her a check for another $900,000. And she said, you're still not going to put a gag order on my mouth. I'm going to still let the world know about my husband not being able to breathe. $5.9 million. Will never bring back a heartbeat of Mr. Scott. Questions? Thank you all for coming. We'll be, yes, sure. John C. Barnett, Barnett. We'll be in Charlotte tonight, praying nothing happens. I will let you know that there may be distractions, and where you think they may be, they may not be.
What does that mean?
What does that mean is that if you think they're going to be uptown, they may be somewhere else. And so that's very important to know. I don't know where they are. I don't have that information. But where you think they're going to be, they may not be. So don't always think they're going to come uptown. There's other places in Charlotte. South Park, the whole nine. Concord Mills Mall. So just be aware of that. And that's, I hope the CMPD officers hear this. So we can.
Are you kind of giving us a heads up warning that things are going to happen in other places around town?
I'm not a prophet, but last night the crowd was larger than the first 2 nights. That was scary to me. The numbers are not decreasing, they're increasing.
I want to say this briefly. America has committed a lot of sins that they never repeated or repented for, particularly to the African American race. And now you see the results of those sins. And as a spiritual component, as a pastor, I think the power of God and prayer can change a lot of this. That's why we need our faith community leaders to come out from all culture, persuasion, and all ethnicities. Those that have major platforms and large congregations, for not just African American pastors to say this, but we need you all to come out and voice and say this is wrong and that we are one community. If not, it's just like it's a black-white issue, but it's not a black-white issue. It's a system against the African Americans. It's a culture against the African Americans. And we're tired of that culture, and we need our voice to be heard. Pastor Amir A-M-E-R-E, last name May, Sr. Yes.
So we'll be here tonight. We'll be here tomorrow night, and we'll definitely be here Sunday for the Panther game. But we won't be
100, yeah.
won't be eating popcorn and nachos. Thank you all for coming out today. You all be blessed. And in Charlotte, we got to do more than pray. We got almost 900 churches in Charlotte, maybe more. We're asking that some of those leaders come out, be it mega church or small church. Please, leaders, stand up. Dr. King was challenged by pastors during his Birmingham experience. He went to jail, wrote some letters to some pastors, asking them, and I'm asking again, almost 50 years later, come out, pastors. I'm not here to hurt you, I'm here to help you. It may save your son's life. So, pastors, 900 churches in Charlotte, we definitely need about 100 you all to say something on Monday. And pray for the Scott family.
I'm Reverend Marshall T. Wedgwood Church.
Okay, good. Thank you. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. You all, this concludes our press conference. Thank you very much. And we'll see y'all tonight.